Hello everyone, happy Saturday, and thank you all so much for coming along to our webinar today, all about Level 3 Assignment B. Just in case you haven't met me before, my name is Mairead and I am based in Ireland, and I've been with the TEFL Academy since 2015, and I've been teaching for 20 years now, and how the time has flown. I'm excited for you all that you get to launch yourselves into this new career. So I'm guessing we have lots of people from the Level 3 course because, this is about Level 3 Assignment B. If you're tuning in and you're doing other courses, by all means, stay. You may pick up some wisdom along the way, I hope. But we will be talking about Level 3 Assignment B specifically today. And we will only be answering questions about Level 3 Assignment B. Okay, so as always, the chat box is there. So if you have any questions about Level 3 Assignment B, as I'm speaking, by all means type them in and I'll go through them all when we finish the presentation. If you prefer to listen to the presentation first and then type in your questions, that is perfectly okay too. All right, are we ready? Let's go. So, as I have said about 4 times now, today is all about Level 3 Assignment B. We're going to look at the following aspects of the assignment. What the assignment assesses, what documents you need to download. We're going to look at the different parts of the assignment. Step 1, which is the lesson plan review, and Step 2, which is creating authentic activities. We're also going to look at Step 3, which is adapting a physical resource. So if you are just at the beginning of the Level 3 course, this may not make a whole lot of sense to you today, but when your time does come to do Assignment B, you can go find this webinar on YouTube, on our YouTube channel, and I promise it will make a lot more sense to you. So what is the aim of Assignment B in the Level 3 course? Well, it allows you to evaluate an existing lesson plan and make improvements. Okay, that is something we do all the time when we start teaching. It will allow you the chance to create authentic activities using authentic and freely available resources. I will explain all of those terms later. And it will give you the opportunity to evaluate the appropriateness and safety of a physical resource. Okay, so they are the 3 main things that you will get out of doing this assignment. Okay, it will give you lots of really useful knowledge. So when you get to Level 3 Assignment B, you will see an instructions page. And at the bottom of that instructions page, there will be various files for you to download. So these are the 4 files that you will need to download and then submit. Okay, so there will be a file for your lesson plan for review. There will be another file as your activity template where you will detail the activities that you've created. There will be another template for your materials, because when you create activities, right, there is always some sort of material, whether it's a worksheet, whether it's images, there'll always be something. That will all go in the materials template, and there will be a physical resource template. Okay, so in total 4. Okay, 4 files for you to download and submit. Right, let's start at the beginning. The first part of this assignment is the lesson plan review. So you are given a case study. Okay, just to give you some background information about the students that you are teaching. Of course, you're not really teaching them, but you're imagining and you're planning as if you are really going to teach them. So you're going to start by reading the case study to get an idea of who you are planning for. Then you're going to think about a PPP lesson plan. In case you don't remember what PPP means, it stands for present, practice, produce, or presentation, practice, production. Okay, if you haven't come across that section of the online course yet, don't worry, you will. Okay, it's a pretty substantial section. So you will be given a completed PPP lesson plan. However, there are tons of issues with this PPP lesson plan. Okay, it is not perfect. It is very far from perfect. So your job is to identify the shortcomings and make recommendations as to how you would improve them. Okay, you will see that after each step of the lesson plan, there is a section with the title Improvements. That is where you are going to detail what you would change to make this stage better. Okay, I find that the easiest way to structure this is to use bullet points. And for each issue that you identify, say what the issue is, what's the problem, okay, what you would do to improve it, and why it would improve it. Okay, so essentially you're detailing those 4 things. Identify the issue, say what the issue is, okay, give your suggested improvement, and say why it would be an improvement. Okay, so for example, if you saw that one of the issues was that the teacher was talking a lot and the students were getting no opportunity to speak, you could structure your improvement something like this. So, bullet point. I noticed that the teacher is doing all of the talking here. This is an issue because the students are not getting any practice. Okay, then give your improvement. I would change the interaction from teacher-class to pairs or groups. Okay, why is this a good idea? That will give students a lot more of an opportunity to speak. Okay, so you don't need to write a whole lot for each improvement, okay, but do try to use bullet points and try to hit those 4 aspects. What's the issue? Why is it a problem? What's your improvement? And why is it better? Okay. So there are lots of issues with this lesson plan. You'll see what I mean when you look at the assignment. So be prepared to spot the errors and make your suggestions. The good news is that you do not have to comment on the aims, objectives, or anticipated problems. Okay, we have included all of those things in the lesson plan, but you don't need to comment on them. You just need to comment on the lesson stages. So, another important thing to consider about the lesson plan review is that it's an online lesson plan. Okay, so you have to imagine that this lesson plan would be taught online. So another thing you can consider is, are the tasks suitable for an online lesson? Okay, for example, if the lesson plan says students will come to the board and write their answers, well, that's a clear issue because in an online lesson, there is no whiteboard. Okay, so you could perhaps suggest what technical adjustments you would need to make to improve the lesson plan. Other things you can consider for improvement could be, are the tasks sufficiently student focused? Okay, are students getting enough time to talk and to work? Has the teacher remembered to elicit from the students and concept check the target language? So as a reminder, eliciting is when you try to draw the information from the students instead of telling them directly. As you work through the online material, you will find us reference eliciting a million times. Okay, eliciting is key. Concept checking is when we ask questions after we have taught something to make sure that the students have understood. Again, you will come across this term a lot in the online material. Are the tasks suitable for the stage of the lesson? Okay, for example, in a controlled practice stage, or the second P, we would like to see something like a worksheet, something that will allow the students to sit and work on the language themselves in silence. Okay, it's like processing time. Whereas in the production stage, or the third P, we would like something really communicative. Yeah, we would like them talking in pairs or in groups. So definitely consider whether the tasks are suitable for the stage. Okay. So there are lots of things that you can bear in mind here. All of these questions will help you to spot the areas in need of improvement. Some more suggestions. Is the timing appropriate for each stage? Okay. Is there enough information in the lesson plan so another teacher could pick it up and follow it? Because, our students often ask us, like, how long should a lesson plan be? And the answer is there isn't really a specific length, annoyingly enough, but there should be enough information so that another teacher could pick it up and teach your lesson just as you had intended. Okay, that's the level of detail that you need. So yeah, lots to do in step 1, but it's actually, I think, it's quite an interesting task. Like, it is quite enjoyable as assignments go, because you get to put yourself in the position of having to teach a class and just figuring out what will work, what won't work, and what will you do to make it better. Okay, so that is step 1. That is the lesson plan done. Now, moving on to step 2. Now, it's important to bear in mind, everyone, that step 2 is not related to step 1. Okay, step 2 is like a whole other thing. Okay, so the lesson plan for review focuses on a grammar lesson using the structure used to. But step 2 is not about used to. It's not a grammar lesson. Okay, it's a separate stage, or it's a separate step. Okay, so you don't have to address used to, you don't have to address grammar. Okay, so step 2 is all about creating authentic activities. So the first thing you're going to do is download your activities template. Okay, now this step is based on what we call authentic texts. So in case you are not familiar with the term, an authentic text is a text that has been written especially for speakers of English, okay? Native speakers, native level speakers, proficient speakers, okay? It has been produced for that audience. An authentic text is not produced for language learners, okay? So it is not simplified, it is not graded, yeah? It's not intended as teaching material, okay? An authentic text is just one that has been put out into the world for proficient English speakers to read. Okay, for example, as I said at the beginning, I'm from Ireland. So I might go to our national news website, the Irish Times. Yeah, articles on the Irish Times are written, for the general public to read. So any article from that would be an example of an authentic text. Okay, so anything from, say, a newspaper website like The Guardian or BBC, all of those would be authentic texts. Okay, texts written for the English-speaking public. But you will be planning an activity for children. Okay, so you will need to be very careful with your choice of authentic text. I don't think 10 or 12-year-olds would appreciate an article from a newspaper. Okay, it might be a bit serious for them. So, you will have to look for texts aimed at children. Okay, so you will need to find a text, a written text, and you will need to create a task based on this text. Okay, but again, a task for your young learners. Okay, so nothing too confusing, nothing too difficult. Yeah, but you will need to create a text or a task based on the text you found. Now, the good thing is you have total freedom regarding this task. It could be a controlled task, maybe like a vocabulary worksheet or some comprehension questions, or it could be freer. Yeah, you could get students to read the text and then have a discussion about it, or read the text and then maybe do a role play. Okay, it's entirely up to you what that task is. Yeah, as long as it is based on the text that you chose. And then once you have decided what activity you want to do, you will detail it on the activity template. Okay. Again, put in as much detail as you can. So I believe that activity 1 is based on the topic of the environment. Okay. So you will need to find a nicely accessible, authentic text about the environment and make a task. Okay. You will need some form of material for this. Okay. Like if you plan on doing a comprehension task, you would just need to make a document with the questions on it. Okay. Because your assessor will need to know the questions that you would put to your students. Yeah, that's super important in deciding how successful the task is. So do remember to make a worksheet or to add some material to your materials template. Okay. And as always, bear in mind the age of your students. Yeah, they will only be 10 to 12 years old. So we don't want to hit them with anything too difficult or too heavy. The topic, as I said, is the environment. So you could do something about animals. You could do something about the environment, about nature. Yeah, the choice is yours. So, as I said, you will need to include some materials. We need the actual activity worksheet or a screenshot of the activity included in your materials file. Okay. Do not just send us a link. Okay. If you just send us a link, we will ask you to resubmit with the actual material. You can imagine that our assessors do not like clicking random links. Our computers are our livelihoods. We don't want to put them at risk. So make sure that you attach the actual activity so that we can see it when you submit it. You must create the task yourself. Okay. So if you find a great task on the internet, you cannot use it. Yeah, you cannot take it from another place. You can be inspired by it, maybe in format for sure, but the task must be of your own creation. Okay. It must be original to you. And that makes sense, right? Because, it depends on the text you choose. Yeah. It's unlikely that you would find a perfect activity for an authentic text that you choose. It stands to reason that you need to create the material specifically for the text you choose. You can be inspired by other activities that you find for sure. But if you are, please reference them in the bibliography. Okay, so that is activity 1, okay, all about the environment for young learners. Okay, now let's move to activity 2. Okay, this time we're moving away from the environment and we're focusing on the topic of travel. And for this activity 2, you need to find a song or a video, again, authentic, related to the theme of travel. Okay. So it can be something from YouTube. It can be something from, a kid's website. Yeah. Just make sure that it is about travel and it is suitable for 10 to 12-year-olds. Yeah. And that it's authentic. Okay. Again, you are going to create a task based on this video or song. Yeah. Videos are better though. They tend to give us more to work with. Again, the activity could be either controlled or freer. Okay, so it can be comprehension, it can be vocabulary, okay, or it could be some fun writing task, it could be a speaking task. Yeah, again, it's totally up to you. Yeah, just make sure that it's engaging for 10 to 12-year-olds. And like before, you're going to add the activity to the activity template. Okay, you're going to detail the stage. Yeah, detail the task that you have planned. Again, you will need to attach some materials for the task. Okay, so as I said before, we need the actual activity worksheet or screenshot of the activity included in your materials file. Okay, do not send us a link, just a link, or we will ask you to resubmit. As before, you must create the task yourself. Okay, it's got to be original to the authentic video you choose. So don't take something from the internet. Okay, that is not what we want here. You can be inspired by other tasks, but if you are, you must reference it in the bibliography. Okay, so there we go. That is it for step 2. Okay, you will create your 2 activities. All of this information will be on the instructions page for the assignment. There will also be briefer instructions on the templates, to explain everything as we go. And as I said, once you actually reach the point of doing level 3 assignment B, you can come back and watch this video and it will make a whole lot more sense to you. Okay, so that is step 1 and step 2 done. Next, there is more. Step 3. Now, step 3 is all about adapting a physical resource for use in the classroom. Okay. Sometimes we have these amazing ideas for tasks that involve kids running around and just, having races, like board races, and having super active tasks. But a lot of times we can't do that because maybe one of the kids is on crutches, or maybe one of the kids has broken their arm. Okay, so maybe some kids are not feeling the best and they just don't want to get up and run around. So this section of the assignment will test you on your ability to adapt. So in the step 3 instructions, you are given, again, a case study. You're given a description of the class that you are teaching. Okay, it gives you a bit of background on them. You will then see the rules of a very physical activity that we all like to do in the classroom. So you will read the description of a game. I'm not giving anything away. When you have read your class description and when you have read the description of the game, you will then have to think of ways to adapt the game and the physical props to make sure that it's appropriate and safe for all of the students. Okay. Just as you would in real life, you have to think, okay, I was going to do that, but it's not going to work because, 2 students can't participate. So I'm going to have to adapt it to make sure everybody can participate. So step 3 is your opportunity to do that. You are given a set of headings on the template. Okay, so you're given some prompt questions on how you would adapt the activity. So use these headings on the template as a guide. Okay, basically write the answers to the prompts on the template. Yeah, that will help you give enough information on how you would adapt the activity. We would really like your account of adaptation to be written in the first person as a continuous text, or you can use bullet points if you want. But yeah, please write it in first person, like I would do this because, then I would do this. And, I think this is a good idea because it's all about your opinion. There aren't really right or wrong answers necessarily for step 3. Okay, we just want to see your reasoning for the adaptations you have decided to make. Okay, your writing, it's not super long. Your completed template should come in around 300 words. And as always, there is plus or minus 10% on the word count. Okay, so yeah, around 300 words. Okay, so it's not a massively long account of the adaptations you would make, but still, you have scope to go into some detail. Okay, so before we wrap up on the presentation, here are just some final tips for level 3 assignment B. Read the checklist. As with all of the assignments, there will be a checklist for you to download. You don't have to submit the checklist. It's just there for you to make sure that you have done everything you need to do. So when you've finished your assignment, look at the checklist and tick off the elements. That way you'll be sure that you have included everything you need to in the assignment. Please use our templates only. Okay, you don't have to delete anything from the templates. Don't delete the logos, don't delete the headings. Yeah, don't delete anything, basically. Just write your answers in the spaces provided. Remember, for step 2, you've got to create your own tasks. Okay, you can't just take them from somewhere. You've got to make them original. And make sure you truly, really understand what authentic means in terms of authentic texts. Because if you provide us with a text that's taken from an English language learning website, we will ask you to resubmit, because your texts have got to be authentic. That is aimed at native level speakers of English, not for English students. Okay. Finally, when you are ready to submit your files, please make sure that you use the naming convention guidelines. I'm missing the tail from the G in naming and the G in guidelines. So when you're submitting your templates, your 4 templates, make sure they're named properly. That helps us a lot to keep on top of the admin. So you will find this table on your instructions page. Basically, you are going to label everything with your family name, your first name, A2 assignment 2, lesson plan submission 1. Yeah. And then you will name all of your files as defined on this naming table. Okay. So yeah, please do name your files correctly, because it makes it really difficult for your assessor if you don't, because it can often be difficult to know what is what if everything isn't correctly labeled. Okay, so you will submit your assignment, and within 5 working days, it will be graded and returned to you. You will get an email saying that feedback has been posted for your submission. Okay, that means that it has been graded, essentially. So to view your assignment feedback, this is what you do. You'll already know this if you've done assignment A already, but just in case you haven't, you will go to your homepage, click on the icon on the top right-hand corner. It's like a little circle. You're going to click there. You're going to select grades. And then on the next page, you will click on the name of your course. Yeah. And once you do that, you will see your grade page. Okay, so go all the way down to the end of the grading page and you will find your feedback. Okay. So sometimes you won't see the whole feedback sheet, but next to your name, there'll be a little plus sign. Click on that plus sign and it will expand all of your feedback. So you can read at your leisure what your assessor has said about your feedback. Okay. If you have any issues, either with understanding instructions, with creating tasks, with understanding what authentic means, any issues at all about assignments, even issues submitting your files, if you have any tech issues, please contact Tutor Support. Okay. When you go to the course homepage or dashboard, go to support and click on open a ticket. Okay. And whatever your question is, ask it and send a ticket to Tutor Support. We will be more than happy to help. We are there 24/7. Okay. We sometimes get tickets or emails from students asking us to preview their files before they submit. We cannot do this. Okay, it wouldn't be fair. But what we can do is answer all of your questions about it. You have 3 attempts in total to pass all of your assignments. Okay. If you submit the first time and you see that your assessor asks you to resubmit, it is not the end of the world. Do not panic. You have 3 chances. okay, to pass this assignment. If you do have to resubmit, your assessor will give you information only on the parts that need to be redone. Okay, so if you're looking at your mark sheet and some things have a Y and no comment, they're okay. They don't need fixing. If you see something with an N and a comment, that is what you need to focus on. Okay, so when you have tried to fix your assignment as best you can resubmit it. Okay, and hopefully the next time you will pass. However, if you don't, it is still not the end of the world. Your assessor will give you feedback again, okay, and you will have another chance to fix it. Okay, and so on until you have submitted 3 times. Because you get so many opportunities to get feedback on your assignment, it is very rare that people fail. Okay, I cannot stress that enough. So please don't worry or tie yourself up in knots. There is plenty of help there, and it is incredibly unusual that anybody will fail. Yeah, any of the assignments, really. Okay, but ask for help when you need it. Tutor support is your first port of call. Okay, so that is the lowdown on Level 3 Assignment B. Now it is over to you, our lovely viewers. If you have any questions about Assignment B, or if there's anything you'd like me to go over again or to re-explain, please pop your question in the chat box and we will do that. Okay, we have lots of time to discuss all of your questions. So while you are thinking of your questions, I'm going to look at the chat box and see where everybody is today, because that's always my favourite bit. As I said, I am in the west of Ireland. It is summer, supposedly, but you would not know it from the weather here. I don't know if any of you have ever been to Ireland, but the weather is pretty awful. Summer is no guarantee. So I can see that a lot of you are from much sunnier climes, and I am jealous. We have South Africa. Hello, Deborah. We have Canada. Hello, Joanne. Christine in Uganda. Oh, how amazing. We have South Africa, Ghana. Oh, Patience, and I love your name. India. Oh, we have Germany. Very good. Nigeria. Oh my goodness. Jackie. Hi, Jackson from Parle. Oh, Jackie, where is Parle? Is that the name of the city? Tell me. I can learn a new geographical piece of information. Parle. Okay, South Africa, Poland. Ah, amazing. Okay. I see here somebody asking for contact details. That is not something that I would encourage. Okay, so please don't feel like anybody needs to share contact details with anybody in the chat. So, hello, Joanne. We have a question. Can we use news in leveled newspaper articles for our authentic text? Good question, Joanne. No, you cannot. Because see, as soon as you take something that has specifically been simplified for a level, it ceases to be authentic. Okay, it is no longer authentic if it's been simplified or graded in any way. Okay, so the answer would be no. So things like, websites like News in Levels, they are specifically tailored to English language students. Okay, they are not for the general public. Okay, so therefore they are not authentic and you cannot use them, I'm afraid. So I'm so glad you asked that question, because now you know. If any of you have any other questions like that, for example, would such a thing be authentic? Please let me know. Okay, that could be a good question for you to ask. Because yeah, it's really important that you fully understand what authentic means. All right. Yeah. So if you have any other questions about what would be authentic and what would not? Yeah, please ask. All right, good. So let me just check something here. Okay, so thank you, Joanne. Now, Christine, hello. What unit is assignment B? So, Christine, you will find assignment B at the end of unit 9. Okay, it's the final unit. So unit A pops up at the end of unit 5, and assignment B pops up at the end of unit 9. Okay, so you will have to have done, you will have to have passed assignment A. You'll have had to pass all of the end of unit tests, before assignment B will be unlocked right at the very, very end. All right. Thank you, Christine. Good question. Okay, so Jackson, it's in South Africa, Western Cape. Oh, amazing. Pearl, good. I had not heard of that before. I hope it's a lovely place to live. Okay, we have Dorothy in the USA. Oh, Kirsty, nice rainy Cork. Oh, Kirsty, isn't it disastrous? Like, Galway has just had the worst summer. I never remember a summer this bad. It's brutal. So sympathies. We'll get through it, Kirsty. We'll find a way. All right. Franklin, I have just started the course. Congratulations and welcome. I've received my 2 free books. Do I continue reading them? When will my assignments be due? There's mention of a CD. I only received the 2 free handbooks. Yeah, that's fine. The handbooks, all good. You don't need anything else. So, yeah, you can read. Why not? Read at your leisure. I would probably prioritize the online units, especially if you're just starting out. So yeah, I would jump straight into the online units, honestly, if I were you. So when will my assignment be due? That's a good question, Franklin. It doesn't have a due date as such. Okay, let me explain. When you start a course with us, you have 6 months to complete it. Okay, that means that you need to do all of the online units and pass all of your assignments within 6 months. But how you manage those 6 months is up to you. Okay, for example, some people fly through the course units. They fly through units 1 to 5, then they pause to do the assignment. Yeah. Whenever they're ready, after the first 5 units, they pause to do the assignment, they pass it, and then they pick up again units 6, 7, 8, and 9. And then when they get to assignment B, they do that, they pass it, all within the 6 months. Okay. Other students prefer to do like all of the units first, like they will read all of the 9 units, and then they will do the 2 assignments at the end. It's up to you how you manage your time. As long as everything is completed within 6 months, you are good to go. Okay, you have the flexibility to do the assignments as you wish, as long as it's all done and passed within 6 months. For those of you who feel like you're running out of time or who have run out of time and your 6 months have ended, please contact student support for information on extensions. Okay, it is possible to extend your course in order to complete your assignments. All right. Okay, so Sophia, I'm very confused. Oh dear, the assignment B has a board plan. Everything's on PDF. Okay, so Sophia, are you doing the level 5 course? Because this is all about the level 3 course, assignment B. Okay, so if you're looking at a board plan, I suspect you are doing level 5 rather than level 3. So this doesn't really apply to you. Okay. Okay, yes, level 5. Okay, so Sophia, why don't you go to our YouTube channel and you will find webinars there all about the level 5 assignment B course, and everything will look much more familiar to you. Okay. Good. Okay, so Franklin, where do I find the online units? So when you log in to your course, Franklin, using your login details, go to your homepage, click on level 3, and you will see all of the units there underneath. Okay, it should be all there on your homepage when you log into the online course. So yeah, if you really can't find it, please send a ticket to tutor support and we will send you more guidance. But yeah, log in. Log in and it'll all be there on your homepage. Okay, very good. Okay, so Bongi, you say I'm doing level 5 too. Okay, so then again, this is not necessarily relevant to what you will be doing for assignment B. The level 5 assignment B is completely different. Okay, so yeah, again, hop onto our YouTube channel and you will find some past webinars all about the level 5 assignments. All right, very good. So Joyce, Parle is a city, South Africa, lovely wine region, very pretty. Oh, I'm desperate to go to South Africa. It's all just so beautiful. Oh my goodness, now I know Parle is on my list. It sounds like an amazing place. Okay. So, let's see, let me go back and check that I haven't missed any questions because we have lots of time, as I said. So please keep those questions coming in. Maybe if you have any other doubts about what constitutes an authentic text or creating activities or adapting, yeah, please let me know. We have time to discuss it. This is the ideal opportunity. Okay. Okay. I do not see any more questions for the moment. So Dorothy, I never received handbooks or CDs. Yeah, well, I think like the packages change every so often, Dorothy. So perhaps if someone has just joined the course, there was a different package being offered or something. Honestly, I'm not sure. But if you think that perhaps you should receive more things, send a ticket to student support and they will be more than happy to let you know what was included in the package when you enrolled. Okay. All right, Ophelia, level 5. Oh, look, we have lots of visitors from the level 5 course. Good. Welcome to you all. This, as I said, this webinar is not for level 5, but still, hopefully you've picked up some interesting nuggets of information along the way. Okay, so while we're waiting, let's do a little quiz. I can't help it. I'm a teacher at heart. I'm all about quizzes. Okay, I am going to describe something to you. And in the chat box, I want you to write either authentic text or not authentic. Okay, or let's make it shorter. In the chat box, write authentic or not authentic. Okay. All right, let's go. Let's do an example. So I found a text on the BBC website all about the best 10 hotels in Britain. Okay, it was there on the bbc.com website. What do you think, guys? Is this text authentic or not authentic? Write it in the chat box. What do you think? Aha, spot on, guys. Well done. That would be authentic. Absolutely. Okay, let's do another one. So I was looking for a text and well, I was looking for a video and I found a really good one on a website called Learn English Kids. And the video was made specifically for young learners in the EFL classroom. What do you think? Sorry, was this video authentic or not authentic? Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Oh, apologies. I couldn't stop coughing. You did not need to hear that. So, yes, absolutely. The second video was not authentic. Thumbs up. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know where this coughing is coming from. All right. Good job, guys. You seem to have a handle on authentic and inauthentic. All right. So, if we have time, we'll do some more later. So, Agnes, question. Do we write what the issue or the problem is in the improvement section? Yeah. So normally, Agnes, you don't have to write a lot, but you say what the problem is. For example, the teacher talks too much, or the activity is not suitable for this stage. You know, you need to identify the issue. Then say why it is a problem. Okay, so, you know, don't just say the problem, say why it's a problem, and then give your improvement and say why it would be an improvement. Okay. So, you know, you're kind of, you're identifying the problem, saying why it's a problem, identifying a solution, saying why it is a solution. Okay. I hope that makes sense. Okay. Oh, of all the times to get a coughing fit, this is not a good time. All right. So let's see. Did I miss anything else while I was coughing? Oh, I apologize, guys. Terrible. This happens a lot as teachers. You know, we're just talking so much. Sometimes we just get these tickles in our throat. And, you know, what can you do? Life happens. Students understand. It's something that we can't help. All right. So, Precious. Hey, can a person finish the course? Oh, I'm so sorry. So, can a person finish the course before 6 months? Absolutely. You know, if you can finish it in 3 months, perfect. You know, don't feel like you need to make it last 6 months. 6 months is just the limit, but you can finish in any time that you can. Okay, good. So Sabrina, you are very kind. Thank you. Okay. Agnes, how do we know if there's a copyright to an online resource we thought was free to use? Yes, Agnes, this is a whole issue, isn't it? I would say, though, generally, when it comes to copyright, if you are not mass producing something, if you're not mass producing a text, or you're not passing it off as your own, copyright intends to allow for educational use. Okay. Educational use is one of the factors in fair access. Okay. So if, for example, you find a text from, as we said, any of the sources of authentic text, like if you find it from a kid's website, or if you find it from a magazine aimed at children, the likelihood is that you will just be using it as teaching material, and you will not be pretending that you wrote it yourself. And, you will not be duplicating it hundreds and thousands of times. Okay. So I think you can feel pretty secure, pulling a text and using it, as long as it's for authentic, or as long as it's for educational purposes. Okay. So don't worry about that too much. What you do have to do is reference fully where you got the text. Okay. So yeah, that would be my answer to that. Don't worry about it too much, because you are using it for educational purposes. Yeah, it'll be fine. But do fully reference where you found it and when. Okay. So thank you, Agnes. Good question. If we have anyone who is more expert in copyright than me, which, let's face it, is pretty much everybody, please let us know your thoughts on that. But from my point of view, you should be okay. All right. Gigi, can we use storybooks as authentic texts? Yeah, absolutely. Storybooks aimed at English-speaking kids? Absolutely. Why not? That would be an amazing authentic text. There are so many great kids' books out there that have originally been written in English. So yeah, go for it. Okay. So Agnes, if I find an interesting and suitable article, but the text is too long, can I only use a part of it? Yeah, for sure. Why not? You might decide to only use the first couple of paragraphs. Because yeah, as we said, you are only teaching young learners, so anything too long would be off-putting for them. I guess the good news is, Agnes, that because you would be looking at authentic texts aimed at kids, they wouldn't tend to be too long anyway, because, a child, a 10-year-old, no matter whether they're English language students or native level English speakers, they're not going to want to consume vast texts. Okay, they will be quite short anyway. But yeah, no problem. Okay. So Suriati, is it true that if we have to resubmit, we will not qualify for a distinction? So Suriati, I think you are also on the level 5 course, right? Because the level 3 course is pass or fail. Okay. So I think you must be on the level 5 course. All right. So you are welcome, Agnes. No problem. And Joyce, thank you. Very interesting and enlightening. Oh, I'm so glad. What I could say between my coughing fits. I'm glad it was useful. Okay, let me do another sweep through just to make sure I haven't missed anything. Because, we do have a few minutes left. Okay, we have 4 minutes left, so we may as well use them. If you have any other questions about the assignment, please type them in. Okay. So Agnes, can the task have different parts? Yeah, why not? For example, let's think about our text, our text about the environment. You might ask students to read the task, and once they have done that, you might ask them to answer questions. Okay, so that would kind of be in two parts, wouldn't it? They'd be reading the text and then they'd be answering questions. Or you could have them read the task, just indicate that you would have them read the task, and then you could get them to do a speaking activity based on the task. So, yeah, I mean, at some stage, reading the task will have to be involved, but then it's what you do after that. So, yeah, it might be that there are two parts, or maybe more, depending on what you choose. Okay, so yeah, just as many parts as you need, to complete the activity. All right, thank you, Agnes. You've all got some really great questions today. All right. Okay, so I do not see any more questions. So yeah, let's just recap then on the most important elements of assignment B. The first part is the lesson plan for review. Okay, so you will find the issue, you will identify the issue, say why it's an issue, identify an improvement, and say why it's an improvement. Okay. For step 2, you will find an authentic text about the environment and you will create a task. You will then find an authentic video about travel and you will create a task. And for both of those tasks, they need to be original to you, okay? And you need to include material. And then for part 3, you will be given a scenario where you need to adapt a rather physical task. And you will be given questions to prompt you to write about your adaptations and the rationale behind them. And if you can do all that, you will be in really great shape. So, as we said, if you have any questions about anything assignment related, please send a ticket to student support or to tutor support. Okay, tutor support are the ones with all of the answers for everything assignment based. All right. Thank you so much for coming along, everyone. It was a pleasure to spend the last hour with you. Just a reminder that all previous webinars are available on our YouTube channel. Okay, so go along to the TEFL Academy YouTube channel and you will find dozens, if not hundreds, of webinars on a load of different topics. There was a webinar on Level 3 Assignment A last week. So if you missed that and you are about to do Assignment A, hop on back to YouTube and you'll be able to watch the webinar on Assignment A too. This webinar will be posted in the next couple of days. So do revisit us when it is your time to do Assignment B. Just as a final favor, I might ask you to take 1 more minute to complete a very quick survey on this webinar. We are always looking to improve our topics. We want to know what is useful for you and maybe what is not. So you can give us all of your opinions if you scan this QR code or copy this link, which I'm about to type into the chat box. And all of your opinions will definitely help us to keep improving as we move forward. Because, when you start teaching, you will see that all you want to do is keep moving forward, keep improving. So your opinions are vital to help us do that. All right, so there is the link in the chat box. I also see we have some interesting answers on copyright. So I am definitely going to read those carefully when our session ends. All right, everyone. So enjoy the rest of your weekend. I hope you all have a wonderful Saturday and Sunday. and I hope to see you back again, same time, same place, next week. All right. Thanks so much for coming along, guys. Talk soon. Bye.